Good morning. We're learning as a schus for Shlema Filan Chai Basarach. We're on Daf Nun Aleph Amid Aleph by the two dots in the middle. Then we're going back on the Mishnah. Now, I will tell you, I'm very optimistic we'll be able to finish at least the blot today, and you'll find out soon why. But not because the Gemara is easy. In the Mishnah, we had said that the Shiarei Hadam are poured up on the western side of the Mizbeach. By the Chatois Pnimis, you take them to the Mizbeach HaChitzon, the Mizbeach, or Mizbeach HaOila, as we're going to see it's called. It's also, what else is it called? There's another name for it. The Chitzon and Mizbeach HaNechoishes. Zok my time, why does it get poured on the western side of Mizbeach? Amr Kol Yisod Mizbeach HaOila Asher Pesach HaOil Moed. The Torah describes where the dam is poured out, the shirayim is poured out. It says on the, if you saw it on the foundation of the Mizbeach HaOlah, that's by the Pesach Oil, by the Pesach Oil Moed. Who the Paga Bereisha? That means the part of the Oil Moed that you will come across first when leaving the Oil Moed, when leaving the Heichel or the Pnimi. When you come out of the Pnimi and you come to the Chitzon, to the Azara, the first part of the Mizbeach you reach is the western side. That's where you poured out. Tan Rabban. The Gemara is now going to say a brisa that says, it says this din of pouring on the Yesod Mizbeach by three chatayis. And it says it, Al Yesod Mizbeach HaOlah, that same lashon it says by Parkei and Mashiach, and it says it by Paral Davish al Tzibur, and it also says it by the Soyer Nasi. The first two are Chatois Pnimius. The Soyer Nasi is brought. It's a regular Chatas, except for that it's restricted that when the Nasi is over, he has to bring bedavka a male goat. So that's the Gemara. El Yisod Mizbeach HaOlah, the first one it says by Parkei and Mashiach, V'lo Yisod Mizbeach HaPnimi. It goes on the Yisod Mizbeach HaChitzon, and not in the Mizbeach HaPnimi, not in the Mizbeach HaZah. El Yisod Mizbeach HaOlah, the next thing that the Brisa says, which is from the pasuk where it says El Yisod Mizbeach HaOlah Legabe the Par Helam Davar Shel Tzibur. In the Par Helam Davar Shel Tzibur. So we say Tein Yisod LeMizbeach Shel Oila. I'm sorry, did I skip?
Yes.
Yeah, I skipped. It's first telling you that there's no din of Yesod there's no physical Yesod on the golden, the Mizbeach Hazav, the Mizbeach HaChitzon, goes down to the bottom, and then there's like a little pier, a little outcropping of one amma by amma on the bottom. Then no such thing exists on the Mizbeach HaPnimi. And finally, El Yisod Mizbeach HaOlah by the Soyer Nasi, Tein Yisod LeMizbeach Shel Olah. What does that mean? Rashi explains, Tein Yisod LeMizbeach Shel Olah. That means that all the karbanos need that the shirayim should go on the Mizbeach HaOlah. Because we didn't say it by all the karbanos. This is the pasuk that tells you that the Mizbeach HaOlah gets the shirayim of all the karbanos. The Brisa asks, how do you know that's what it's telling you, this last pasuk? Maybe it's telling you it did not about shirayim. Maybe it's telling you that when you do the zrikas hadam of a carbon, of a chatas, because not of a chatas. Any that we'll see what we're talking about. But maybe it's telling you when you do a zrikas hadam against the mizbeach that it should always be that it should be toward the part of the mizbeach that has a yesod. We've seen this before that he can only throw the Yisai does not cover the entire, doesn't go and cover the entire circumference of the Mizbeach. So you have to do the Zrika, Tain Yisai, the Mizbeach Shalayla, Mizbeach Shalayla, Haley Yisai, that when you're bringing a Zevach, when you're doing a Zrika's Dam on the side of the Mizbeach, it should be opposite the Yisai. So the Bryce has two answers for that possibility, right? This is just
Versus what? Versus, didn't we just say that we had the
we said
pasuk
that
of that
we
it
said
goes to the
first that
Pesach?
we said before that all the Shirayim should be on
Uh-huh.
the side. That was
So we
what we
said
worked
Hahu the
out.
Paga Bereisha, right?
I'm sorry.
And we said the first pasuk we said is Amakra, Hahu the Paga Bereisha.
That means that you have to do it. That was the question. Why? How do we know the western side?
Right.
That the
So now what's the difference between and now what are we saying? Where should it go?
well, that was talking about. I believe that that was talking about the Chatois Pnimis.
Okay.
That that's what I think it's saying.
And now what are we saying?
Now it's saying that um, now it's saying that in general that we're saying what are you talking about? You're talking about what the Bryce is, what it says we learned out,
No,
or
we're
what we're
saying
suggesting we should learn out.
What are we trying to what's
That's nothing
our
to do with Shirayim. That's talking about the actual Zrika Saddam.
ah
The Bryce is suggesting, how do we know this is telling us the din of Shirayim, that all Kabbalah should be opposite the Yisoid, right? The western side does have a Yisoid. So that's what you asked before. That's just talking about the Chatos Pnimis you do as soon as you come in, right opposite the Pnimi. We're saying that the Pasuk is telling you that all Kabbalas need to be opposite the Yisoid. The other ones don't have to be on the western side. It could be on the other sides, but it has to be opposite the side. Now it's saying a different thing. Maybe it's coming to tell you something nothing to do with Shirayim. It's coming to tell you that the Zrika's Dam should be opposite the side,
mhm.
which we've come across this din before, right? So Amr Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael says we don't need a pasuk to tell you that. Kal v'chomer. Ma Shirayim she'em mechaper tu'unin yisoid. If the Shirayim, which are not mechaper, the Gemara is going to say exactly what the Brisa means by that. Tchilas oila shemechaperes ein edin she'tu'unin yisoid. The Zirikas Adam, which is mechaper, certainly it has to be opposite the Yisoid. If you have to pour out the Shiraim on the Yisoid, certainly the Zrikas Dam should be opposite the Yisoid, because the Shiraim are not Ma'akiv, and the Zrikas Dam is Ma'akiv. Amar Rabbi Kiva says something that sounds very similar. The Gemara is going to ask later on what's the difference. Both the Shiraim are not mechaper, and they're not coming to be mechaper. To Una Yisai, they still need Yisai. Chilas Eilish mechaper, so Bal Chaper and Dinshin to Una Yisai. So the Gemara is going to ask what the difference is then. They both sound very similar. Rabbi Kiva just adds an extra thing that he says, not just that it's Rabbi Shmuel had said mechaperes, he says, and it's Bal Chaper. So the Gemara. So now that we said, we can learn out. So we have a Kal V'Chomer that says that the pasuk is not telling you the din of the Zrika Saddam. So what is the pasuk saying? El Yisayim Mizbeach Ha'ila. Ten Yisayim Mizbeach Shalayla. Like we said before, that when he does all the karbanos have to have their shirayim on the side. So now the Gemara is going to go through this brisa. Since it wasn't painful enough, we're going to spend we'll do at least one more amud about it.
Where are we up to?
We're at the bottom of Nun Aleph Amud Aleph. Amar Mar El Yisayim Mizbeach Ha'ila V'lo yisoid mizbeach hapnimi. That was the first, what we learned from the first pasuk, the pasuk of the Parakah in Mashiach. Hamibaya leila gufa. In fact, the Gemara, but we need this to tell you, why are you saying that this is coming to tell you that it's not, it has to be on the Mizbeach HaChitzon and not the Mizbeach HaPnimi? Maybe it's coming to tell you that it's either one, the way Rashi explains it. It's coming to tell you that maybe this carbon is brought, the zrikas are done on the Mizbeach HaPnimi, and the pasuk is telling you, in addition, you could also do it on the Mizbeach HaChitzon, that the Mizbeach HaChitzon is kosher. That should be the first thing you learn before you jump to say that it can only be on the Mizbeach HaChitzon and not the Mizbeach HaPnimi. First say that it's coming to tell you that that it's saying you can do either one. Zak Gemara, no, that can't be because it says Me'asher Pesach Oil Moed Nafka. The Torah already said you should bring it to the Mizbeach Asher Pesach Oil Moed. Then it says also Mizbeach HaOila. That's a second time telling you the Mizbeach HaChitzon. That's coming to tell you not just that you have the option to do it there, but that you're required to bring the Parakah in Mashiach Bachotz. That was the first limit. Then the second limit. Al Yisoid Mizbeach HaOila Tain Li Yisoid. So we actually skipped the second one, right? Because that was fine. We didn't have a problem with that limud. That we agree with. That the second one is telling you that there is no mizbeach, there is no yisoid on the mizbeach hapnimi. The third one we said el yisoid mizbeach ha'ila tein yisoid lemizbeach she'alayla. That's coming to tell you that all the karbanis have to their shirayim go on the mizbeach ha'ila. The iksak daitach kediksiv, if you think it's coming to tell you that the soyer nasi, this is on the soyer nasi, that it has to be bachotz, hani lamali kra l'shirayim. What do you need this posuk for? To tell you that the shirayim go on the mizbeach hachitzin? Shirayim habraya v'lahu. Shirayim Shirayim, it's coming to tell you, but this whole carbon, the soyer nasi, is not a soyer pnimi. It's not a chatas pnimi. It's a chatas chutz. The whole avodah is done by chutz. It's a regular chatas in almost all respects, except for that you're limited to what kind of animal you could bring. So, what would you need a pasuk to tell you that the dam goes on the yisoid? The whole carbon was done on the mizbeach hachitzin. What do you need a pasuk to say if it afka goes on the mizbeach hachitzin? Maybe you'll say no. That's the way it is.
But when we use the lotion of mizbeach shalayla, right? Meaning we're talking about that's another word for mizbeach hachitza.
Yeah, that's what the oila is on the bachotz.
I'm saying, but that's what it's another name.
It's another way of saying mizbeach hachitzin. Yeah. The Gemara suggests maybe it's coming to tell you that all the karbanos are reversed. The broi legavoy, the gavoy lebroi. Maybe the karbanos maybe this is for some reason the Torah has such a thing, that those karbanos that the zrikas are befnim, their shirayim go bachotz, and those karbanos that their zrikas are bachotz, the shirayim go befnim. I'm not sure why I had to say that second part. We're just trying to say that somehow the Gemara thinks it's more logically, it's more rational, it's more logically, more logical, I should say, to have whatever's bifnim b'chutz, whatever b'chutz b'fnim. But what we're really talking about here is suggesting that those things that are b'chutz, the shirayim should be b'fnim, not necessarily the reverse. Sak the Gemara, but that can't be. How could you suggest that it's coming to tell you that the soyer nasi's shirayim should go b'fnim? The previous pasuk had already told us that there is no yisoid on the pnimi. So how could you have shirayim on mizbeach hapnimi? Okay, so the brisa continued, right? So we said this suggestion Maybe it's coming to tell you that the Zrikas, that was, we're still analyzing the Bryce. So we said that the third pasuk, like we just said, is coming to tell you that all the Shiraim of the Mizbeach of the Chatoyis go on the Mizbeach HaChitzah. We said a suggestion. Maybe that's not what the pasuk is telling you. Maybe it's telling you that the zrikas dam, not the shirayim of the dam, but the zrikas of the dam should go opposite the yisoid. Zok the Gemara, miksev el yisoid ha'ayla. Did the pasuk, if that was what the pasuk wanted to tell you, it should have said el yisoid ha'ayla. It says el yisoid mizbeach ha'ayla. The Gemara says that the Gemara is saying that if it says Mizbeach Ha'ila, that if it's talking about Zrikas, it shouldn't say Yisoid Mizbeach Ha'ila. It should say El Yisoid Ha'ila, because by saying Mizbeach Ha'ila, it's mashma that whatever Ha'ila Zrikas there are have to be Keneged HaYisoid. Because we know that there's the chatas that has to be done on the kronos. The kronos are all four kronos. One of the kronos, at least I think one or maybe two, are not opposite the side. So it wouldn't be accurate. So Zok Gemara, if you're saying that it's coming to say that all of the zrikas of the oila, it shouldn't say it shouldn't say el yisoid mizbeach ha'oila. It should say el yisoid ha'oila, which is mashma the oila's zrikas should be opposite the yisoid. Rather, it said el yisoid mizbeach ha'oila. Zok the Gemara, no, that can. You have a ksiv el yisoid ha'oila, but you have a problem. You're suggesting it should say el yisoid ha'oila. Havamina beskifa al yisoid, beskifa al yisoid. I would think it has that the zrika of the dam that we're talking about would not be in the right place. We're saying that it means that you have to do it on the side of his back, opposite the yisoid. But we would say if it said el yisoid ha'oila, it would be telling you to put it on the vertical side of that yisoid. That's instead of doing it against the wall and dripping down onto the yisoid, I would say do it on the actual side of the yisoid. So it says al yisoid mizbeach ha'oila. What the suggestion is, you were saying that it's problematic to say al yisoid mizbeach ha'oila. It doesn't necessarily mean what you were suggesting that it means, that all of the anything that goes on mizbeach ha'oila has to be connected to yisoid, but rather what it's saying is that those things that go on the yisoid, they have to be on the gag of the yisoid. So that was the suggestion, that maybe that's what the pasuk is telling you, that these zrikas should be done it should go onto the gag of the yisoid. That means that it should drip onto the yisoid. So we said in the brisa that it can't be. We said two kalvachaimis that prove that that's not what the pasuk is talking about, because we could learn that out from a different source. Amar Yishmael, Gag Yisoid Lamali Kra. What do I need a pasuk to tell you that you have to do the zrikas in a way that it drips onto the top of the yisoid? Kalvachaimehu u'mashi yarichata she'en mechaperes tu'una gag yisoid gag yisoid tchilas alish mechaperes and edin she'tu'una gag yisoid. Like Rabbi Shmuel said, that if the shirei chatas, which are not ma'akev, they still need to be on the top of the yisoid, like we just proved from the previous discussion. So the tchilas ayla, that's we're talking about the gag yisoid, not the side of the yisoid. So that's why the Gemara is like sticking in the word gag yisoid, which wasn't in the brisa. Tchilas ayla mechaperes and edin she'tu'una gag yisoid. So certainly the zrikas have to be up the yisoid. Amar Rabbi Kiva, Mashir Chatash Ein Mechaper Ve'Ein Boin Lechaper. He has in the words of Ve'Ein Boin Lechaper, Tunas Gag Yisoid Tchilas Ayla Shem Mechaper Subal Lechaper, and Edin Shetuna Gag Yisoid. Im Kein Ma Tam Loimal Yisoid Mizbeach Ayla. Tain Yisoid Mizbeach Shalayla. So therefore, since the pasuk is not needed, like what we had suggested, that the original possibility that's coming to tell you like Gabi the Zerikas should be up to side because we learn it out from these Kalvachaimers. So therefore, the pasuk is available to tell you that all the karbanos, the shiraim, go on the Yisoid. My bina. Now the Gemara gets to the question that's been annoying us. What is the difference between Rabbi Kiva and Yishmael? They're both saying it's Eine Mechaper. Amar Vada Bar Hava, Shirayim Ma'akvim Ikebeinayim. They're discussing of whether Shirayim are Ma'akiv. Now this is they both saying L'chayr Shirayim are not Ma'akiv. But what we mean is here is a special type of Ikuva. So we see Rashi on the side, Shirayim Ma'akvim Ikebeinayim. Yishmael Sava, Chaparo Hu Deloi Mechapri. He holds that, and they both agree that you're not going to lose the kapara because of the shiraim. The shiraim are not what's mechaper. The person who brought the carbon has his full kapara. Avol kuvi ma'akvi, but he holds you're required to do it. Meaning that let's say a person had brought his carbon and he finished his rika and there was no dam left over. He just the kohen did not get enough blood to leave over anything after doing the zrikas. You'd have to bring another carbon in order to be able to finish the shirayim, to do shirayim as well. That means you have to have shirayim, even though they don't, similar to what we said right at the beginning of the Masechta, that it sort of like passels the carbon, but he already has a kapara, so like really the opposite. And Rabbi Kiva the Moisef, Rabbi Kiva says that it's not that he adds on additionally that's ein bar lekapara, meaning the ein man dam shamatanas toli bohen. Delay ma'akvilu shirayim lahazois. That it's not necessary to have the hazoy, the shirayim together with the hazois. It's not so clear what Rashi is saying. That's the way the Mefarshim explain it. That Rabbi Yishmael says that even though you got the kapara, you still need the shirayim. You're required to leave enough dam for shirayim. And Rabbi Kiva says, no, it's not just not mechaper, it's not boil lekaper, that it's not going to be ma'akiv. You don't need to at all have the extra shirayim to put on the side. Marsav makvi and marsav lemak. That's the first pshat. Rapapa Amar, the kuli almi shirayim ein ma'akiv. Everyone agrees shirayim are not ma'akiv. And Rashi says, b'chatois v'afilu b'pnimius. They hold that shirayim and ma'akiv, and that includes chatois pnimius, because that's what we're talking about in this discussion over here. We're talking about the chatois pnimius. So what is the disagreement between Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Shmuel? If you look at the side, it says in the third pasuk that's brought, it says V'hiza midam hachatas al kir hamizbeach. There's a special procedure for the dam of a oif. So what you do is you spritz it, the chatas ha'oif, on the wall of the mizbeach. It doesn't go first into kli. You take the actual bird and you use that to spritz on the mizbeach. V'anisha b'dam, and what's left of the dam, yimotz el yisayim mizbeach. You squeeze it out onto the yisayim mizbeach, not like we usually take a kli and pour it out. It ends off with the chatas. So the question is, what is the Torah describes with particularity that this din of mitzi hadam of the oif? So they're arguing about that. Marsava ma'akav u'marsava loy ma'akav. That Rabbi Shmuel holds it is ma'akav and Rabbi Kiva holds it's not ma'akav. Tanya kavosa de Rav Papa. Bring a raya to Rav Papa that he says that Rabbi Shmuel holds, right? He disagreed that the first pshat had said it's a machlokes between Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Kiva about whether shirayim are ma'akvi, and he says according to everyone, Rav Papa said everyone, even according to Rabbi Shmuel, shirayim is ma'akvi. So Tanya goes to Rav Papa, that's called So this is a little bit problem with the lashon. It's called dam hapar yishbach al yisoid mizbeach ha'olah. This is by the Par Kayin Mashiach. That's the actual pasuk. Matam aloymer hapar. What does the Torah have to say hapar? We know we're talking about the par. What else could we talking about? Where else is the dam coming from? Limit al par yom hakippur and sheshtoy man dam yisoid. This is coming to tell you not just the Par Kayin Mashiach, but the Par Yom Kippur also needs that the Shirayim go on the Yisod. Divrei Rebbe. Amar Rabbi Yishmael disagrees with Rebbe. What do I need the pasuk? What do I need the word hapar to tell you that the dam of the Par Yom Kippurim goes on the Yisod? It's a kal v'chomer. Amar misha ein nichnas dam lefnim chayva ton Yisod. If the one who the dam does not go lifnim as a chayva, meaning the Par Kayin Mashiach is not a chayv that you have to do every year. It's only if we have a very specific set of circumstances that the Kayin Gadol made a psak for himself and then he violated the law by listening to his own psak. Then you bring the Par Kayin Mashiach. But if he doesn't do that, there's no need to bring a Par Kayin Mashiach. And that, nevertheless, the pasuk said it needs yisoid. Misha nichnas dam lefnim chayva. The Par Yom Kippur they have to do every year, so it's more chomer than the Par Kayin Mashiach. Any din shetan yisoid. Amar Rabbi Kiva. That was Rabbi Shmuel. Amar Rabbi Kiva. Ma misha ein. He has a different kavachim. Ma misha ein dam nichnas leflai v'lefnin. Bein lechayva bein lemitzvah. The Par Kayin Mashiach does not go in the Kodesh Kadashim. It only goes in the Heichel. There's no part of that avodah that goes into the Kachei Kachim. Ton Yisrael, nevertheless it needs Yisrael. Misha nichnas damei chayva lefnai v'lefnim. The Par Yom Kippur, which has a portion of the dam thrown on Keneged, the Kapyrus, between the Badim, and it has on the so it has that avodah lefnai v'lefnim. Any din shetan Yisrael. So that is that. So we could learn it out from a kal v'chaimer according to Rabbi Yishmael and from a kal v'chaimer. So Zok the Gemara now. So Rabbi Yishmael said I could. So I learned it out from a kal v'chaimer. So I don't need that pasuk of a par. So Yachal Yakvenu. Maybe since the Torah said that even though we can learn it out from a kal v'chaimer, the Torah also said a pasuk. Maybe the second pasuk is telling you li kuva shana la kasavakav. Talmud loyim v'chila mechaper sakodesh. Shlomish kol hakapayros kulan. He learns out. The Torah says v'chila mechaper sakodesh. When he finished doing the hazayis, he's finished all the kaparas, and nothing after that is mechaper. That's what the pasuk is telling you. V'chila mechaper sakodesh. He was. He finished his kaparas, and whatever comes after that is not mechaper. So the shirayim are after the Torah says v'chila mechaper kodesh, then describes the shvicha shirayim. So therefore, it's not going to be ma'akiv. Did Rabbi Yishmael?
So Rabbi Shmuel said earlier that it's a kapara that we're not talking about, but it is ma'akiv. Didn't we say it could be?
That's Rav Papa disagreed with that. Rav Papa said that everyone holds that it's that
this is a right to Rav Papa,
and we'll bring a raya to Rav Papa connected that. Dr. Gemara, Kal v'chaymer lepar kohen Mashiach me'ata. So now the Gemara says we're going to say another thing. We could learn from. We want to make a similar kal v'chaymer. It says, "Omami she'ein nichnas damei lefnim lo chayv v'lo mitzvah tan yisai." The Torah says about the Sa'ir Nasi, right? That it says you should bring al mizbeach ha'ela by the Sa'ir Nasi, and that Sa'ir Nasi is not lefnim at all. Tan yisai, nevertheless, it needs yisai. Mishach damei lefnim bein l'chayva bein l'mitzvah ein edin shetain yisai. So this is really, Rashi has a big problem with that. I think this is where he says this. Yeah. There's no chayva for a park. We just said before that there is no chayva for a Par Kayin Mashiach. Why are we saying now? that it's a kal v'chomer from that if the Sawyer Nasi needs Yisoid, that certainly the Parkai Mashiach, which needs that goes lifnim bein l'chayva bein l'mitzvah. It's only a mitzvah. It's not il-chayva. So Rashi first takes out the words l'chayva, and then he says, no, when it says l'chayva here, it just means relative to the Sawyer Nasi. When we said before it's not a chayva, we were saying relative to the Yom Kippur, which has to be brought every year. But the Par Yom Kippur, the Par Kohen Gadol, connected the Sawyer Nasi, it's a chayva that it be brought inside to lifnim. That's what it means. But in any case, either way, it's certainly we can make a kal v'chomer from the Sawyer Nasi if we say we see Nesinas Dam, Nesinas Shirayim on the Yisoid by the Sawyer Nasi, you certainly should need it by the Par Kohen Mashiach. So therefore, we have, but we already, if we learn to have a kal v'chomer, and we also have a pasuk by Par Kohen Mashiach that it's dam goes, the shirayim goes on the Yisoid. Talmud Lema is called dam hapar yishafach, not v'akosef la'esei v'asu shiarei mitzvah. We learn from the pasuk that it says by the es kol dam hapar yishpoich al Yisoid mizbeach ha'olah. That's es dam hapar, just this par should be shafach, has shvichas dam. But up to that point, it's required. Anything after that part is not the shirayim is not ma'akev. Well, I'm not really remembering exactly. Let's see the Rashi what the limit is. Tamalem es kol dam apar not go akasa. Misay the shar avoidus v'asu shiarim mitzvah shana behiluk l'shoinei. Shagol avoidus sevelakach v'hizav v'nasan. Al kind of the conflict of Shavak Dom El Yisrael, El Shana b'Mashmas Lenat Michlal Sharavos Loy Meshain Chayvak. Doesn't say b'Shavak Dom El Yisrael Mizbeach, but rather it says Yishbach. That it's Yishbach, not that it's v'Shavach. It's not with a commanding, not a tzivui, but rather it was treated differently to tell you that it's not mak. Okay. Zok Gemara. So according to Rav Papa, he said that both Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva agree that the din of Yisoid even in the Chatois Pnimius is not ma'akev. And they said that the machlokes between Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva is talking about the mitzui of the chatas, whether that's ma'akev. But Rabbi Yishmael, v'anisha b'dam yimatzei, v'anisha yimatzei, v'she'enin shelo yimatzei. That seems to say that there's no requirement that you leave over dam, not like Rabbi Yishmael had said. We said that Machlokes Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva was the gabi this mitzvah of whether you have to make sure that there's dam because it's ma'akev. But the mashmayis of the pasuk is she'enin shelo yimatzei. This brisa seems to be saying not like Reb Papa had understood Rabbi Yishmael. Shrei Tanoi v'alibdi Rabbi Yishmael. There's two Tanoim. This taka, that's the way he understood Rabbi Yishmael. Reb Papa, that was one Tana that said Rabbi Yishmael in that way. He says this Tana, this other brisa understood Rabbi Yishmael differently. Let's see. I think we're going to have to stop over here, and we'll finish this. We'll do this Amud tomorrow. At least we got one free Amud today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Hold on a second.